Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Pinball Arcade. Last time we did World Champion Soccer. You know, it does occur to me after playing a table that was so easy that it took me 20 minutes to get all of the standard goals done, and then the wizard goals were much more difficult, that theoretically it might be the case that when we first played the first game, Central Park, I was just not very warmed up as far as playing pinball. And if I went back to Central Park, I might be able to get most of the standard goals or all of the standard goals and most of the wizard goals done. Unfortunately, there's just no way to sort the games based on the achievements, the standard goals and wizard goals, uh, as far as what percentage has been done or not. So I would have to click on every single table and check, and frankly, it would just take way too much more time than it would be worth to go back and test the theory there. I believe we're playing Attack on Mars today, if I can read that. Attack from Mars. So one word wrong there, from 1995. It was quite a while. Like, if we're at 95 here, we have from this point all the way to this point to fill in 95 through 99. Whereas from this point up to this point was 1990 to 1994. So the second half of the 90s clearly doesn't have the same number of tables. Although a lot of the tables are kind of good tables, it probably also symbolizes a point where pinball table development went from being we've got to get out as many tables as possible to we're overbooked and arcades already have as many pinball arcade tables as they can handle. And if we're going to have any kind of competition at all, we're going to have to make every single table we try to make the best of the best and the most revolutionary and the most groundbreaking device ever. Because, yeah, a 1995 table probably isn't going to look much different than a 93, isn't going to look that much different to a 92. Um, it's not until you get about to 91 that you stop having tables that are guaranteed to have LCD screens, and that's about the biggest um, breakthrough is the LCD screen being introduced. And still, at this point, only Star Trek The Next Generation really has a lot of good video modes. There might be one other table that actually does have a game mode uh, in the early 90s, but uh, not most of them just have video clips that play as like screensaver animations more than things you actually have to interact with or even could possibly see, because most people playing the pinball table have to look downward towards the pinball on the table and can't even see the animations.
Return to battle, soldier!
I remember seeing this table, so I must have played it in the real world. Attack from Mars 1995 was designed by Brian Yeti, who also designed Medieval Madness and programmed the software for tables such as Funhouse and the machine Bride of Pinbot. An army of Martians is attacking Earth, and it's players' job to defend it. With its open playfield and easy to understand rules, this table is a blast to play. Features include a moving flying saucer in the middle of the playfield, dancing Martians, a functioning strobe light. A common misperception about Attack from Mars is that it was inspired by the movie Mars Attacks, which was released in 1996. It's a coincidence that the movie and this table were released within a year of each other. 3,450 units of this table were produced. I wouldn't be surprised if there was at some point some negotiation for this to have been themed around Mars attacks, but the idea of Martians attacking Earth was definitely prevalent in the 40s and 50s, and uh, there is there's a whole play slash movie around it slash books. So yeah, that definitely was a concept that existed before Mars Attacks. In fact, if anything, Mars Attacks is just a parody of older, uh, serious depictions of fears of Martians attacking, and Martians attacking very often could be taken as just allegories for the Russians, the USSR attacking, or any other enemy of the United States attacking. So here we have flying saucers blowing up the, I guess that's the Congress, Senate, and House of Representatives. Here we have MAR spelled upward and then TAN, so there must be a TI over here. The table had these little green plastic toy figures. And then you have all these floating strobe lights to look like UFOs, which is a cool integration of strobe lights where every other table has not really bothered to explain the strobe lights. They've just been there. Although for this table, where the strobe lights are, they probably won't be used very much to get your attention. There aren't any sinkholes where a ball could get launched out or anything like that. You have what looks like maybe a slightly too easy to hit outlane on the right. Maybe slightly too easy to hit outlane on the left, although both of them look like they're fairly tight. Don't think there's a kickback. Maybe there is a ball saver. This return to battle might be a thing. Here you've got a military white guy. That's pretty much, yeah, that's not a fair way to describe anybody, but yeah, military guy. You have several different cities, I guess, that are going to get attacked by Mars. Several different lines, all very linear for each of the shots. And this is a basically symmetrical table where you've got a loop that loops all the way around by the looks of it. You've got a ramp that then ramps up towards this ramp and towards the right in lane. You've got a scoop here. You've got 3 standing targets that are, I think, actually drop down targets that let you get the ball more easily up this center area, which seems to have just a, I guess you'd call that a sinkhole, but really it's just a hole. And so that's probably where you attack the main Martian spaceship. Over here is a loop that loops into, well, something. I'm not 100% sure if it gets all the way up to this ramp. I guess it does. Yeah, it looks like there's a light sensor or something that can tell when if it makes it that far and sneaks behind the UFO. And then you have another ramp that then synchronizes back to the left in lane. So there's definitely a figure 8 where you'd hit this, get the ball on this one, hit this one, and then get the ball on this one, and you could just do that forever. And then, yeah, the far left ramp gets you to a 2 light in lane, and I assume the plunger also gets you up to that location, but I'm not 100% sure what it actually does. It seems to kind of jump the ball on a ramp just into that lane. It's kind of a simplistic table, and it's just using alien toys that may have been custom toys, but they may have also been things that already existed. We've seen previous tables where there's been tons of like molding and design here. Design on the edges and buildings and things, and yeah, they don't really need any of that stuff, and so I kind of appreciate the simplified thought here. Here you have a blonde lady that she's probably not going to play any role at all. And so yeah, you kind of would want maybe a zapper, like a custom zapper on the launch button, or maybe a depiction of the US military trying to fight back, but maybe they fail miserably in the story of this. I don't know what else you really can go with on this thing, because an alien invasion story usually does just center around some kind of weird looking alien, and some kind of weird looking spaceship. I'm not 100% sure that this spaceship does not move. There's a sinkhole here, or a launcher here that launches the ball up. That probably launches balls that hit that. In the H.G. Wells story, War of the Worlds, that's the name of the story. I was trying to think of the name, where Martians attack. There is, I believe, giant walking robots. So you might go with that thought, and you might go with the War of the Worlds theory story more. And I believe there was also a poisonous gas, so you might go with that thought too. But yeah, if you're just gonna have generic Martians attacking, you can't really go too far. And see, this is so blown out visually. It's just so incredibly bright. I can't see anything there. Let's see what the flyer says. This feels thematically very much like Creatures from the Black Lagoon as a table, except for this time, instead of combining Creature from the Black Lagoon with the movie Grease, or the theme of Grease, and going to a drive-in movie as having like 2 or 3 themes combined, they've boiled it down to just an old movie. Yep. So our standard goals are score a super skill shot, activate super jets, complete an attack wave, score a multi-ball jackpot, and earn an extra ball. That doesn't seem like that's too hard.
Earth will be ours!
So when you have a push button, what does a skill shot do? Like, you have a lane chooser.
We must build an atomic blaster.
The audio so far sounds good.
Defeat us.
So that might be a major factor here. It also feels like a lot of this table is going to spin around the idea of hitting ramps and shots quite a bit, because you do have a very kind of singular playfield here.
Return to battle, soldier.
That's a fairly long ball saver mode. The lady is getting some voice acting work, which, okay, you've got Martian sound effects, you've got ladies being kidnapped, and you've got aliens making sounds. If I recall, these tables, the little plastic toys just kind of jittered, so I don't feel like the emulation is probably jittering them quite the way they realistically would on a table. This feels like another table that would be fairly good for a young player that doesn't have to really think too much about where they're shooting. I'm hoping with a little bit more play we will realize that you can very rarely bump into an edge of a ramp and bounce the ball back. That being said, seems like I've managed to do it 2 or 3 times in this first game fairly quickly. Boy, does that just go quiet. And see, that felt like that gave me a pity credit. And it says you again.
Cities will be destroyed.
Yeah, you still have that problem, certainly, with any table when you have to shoot. When you have to shoot straight up the center of a lane, there's a lot of opportunity for the ball to end up in a different place in the gutter.
Look out! Martian!
And so a table like this probably would specifically benefit a lot more than an average table with just having a center peg. I can immediately see that this table could use some slightly improved angles. As far as the outlanes, a lot of the ramps don't feel crazy off.
We must build an atomic blaster!
I know one of the goals was to get super jets, but I kind of have to question how you really would be able to pull that off. You're going to have to get really good at these shots that specifically put the ball in the bumper area.
Blimey, London Bridge is falling down, isn't it?
So yeah, you'd have to be fairly, I think, astute on just hitting the same shots over and over again for specific goals.
Destroy those lily-livered Martians!
Oh, so there is a standard target, a standing target back behind there. And so you hit that first. Then you maybe blow it up
Blow the
later.
saucer out of the sky!
Lots of flashing that in emulation doesn't particularly look as flashy as I imagine it did in the real world. Yeah, I was watching a video of someone talking about a more modern pinball table and how
Excellent!
their eyes in particular are just not well suited for flashing lights, so to the point where as a pinball collector they took out some of the light bulbs that would have come standard in Star Trek The Next Generation, was I believe the table they were talking about, and I don't even feel like that was a particularly flashy table. Of course, then there's the opposite case for a lot of people where they are replacing the light bulbs with LEDs, and they use special LEDs that fit in the old light bulb sockets. But even if you buy the lowest lumen LED you can find, or lowest brightness LEDs you can find, I imagine they're still going to very often be brighter than what half the bulbs on pinball tables would have been. Of course, also, a old pinball table's bulbs may be incredibly more dim than the day they were originally released.
We must build an atomic blaster!
I feel like for a Bailey table, these flippers are a little bit weaker than I'd like. Yeah, and I think I would want to widen up each of these ramps. But honestly, I don't think I'd change this table by much. The theme works fine, even in 2021. So like replacing it with newer action figures or a more modern Alien version really doesn't make any sense. I guess if you could get the license to Mars Attack, or which there was a Mars Attack pinball table also, or if you could get the license to like Aliens as a movie series,
Watch out, man!
maybe
They've
you'd
got a
make a
big
change
old
there. But honestly, I don't think the Aliens movie series does not work with this table, because the Aliens movie series
We gotta
is
save the
more than
Statue of
just random
Liberty.
aliens attacking. Independence Day as a TV series would make a lot more sense to get the license to that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's an Independence Day pinball that already exists also. But there is also a benefit of not negotiating for a license and simply having a generic Mars attacks
Blast the saucer!
table. Although in 2021, as we are approaching a potential point in the future where we could actually have manned missions to Mars, and we have rovers on Mars, and we know there aren't any Martians there, as far as we have found so far on the planet, we probably at that point
Blast those Martians.
would have to expand it away from the planet Mars into a different alien group. And I don't know who that group would be. I mean, there are all kinds of movies where there are aliens from Venus, Mars, Uranus, Pluto's. Like every planet had at least a couple of movies with aliens coming and attacking.
Take that, you horrible green Martian.
And if anything, I think we'd probably want aliens from a totally different solar system to come and attack in a modern setting. So you probably would be best to just genericize it and say alien attack to rename the table.
You again?
But if you genericize it to alien attack and then you modernize the graphics so it's not reminiscent of 1960s movies, or then what are you really doing at that point? What story are you really telling? Yeah. I think the only license that really makes sense here, if you're going to get a license to improve this table, would be H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, which might hit public domain or be in public domain already. So there could be an argument for doing that.
Hey, they got our stuff!
Some of this table definitely gives off the subtitle feeling that this is veiled propaganda against outsiders in general stealing your women away.
We must build
Like
an
these
atomic
aliens are
blaster.
grabbing a lot of ladies and not any men, and there is hysteria of that happening anytime any two cultures integrate,
Save me,
or
save me.
anytime there's any kind of hysteria
Get the
that
troops ready.
happens.
The Brandenburger Tor is in danger. Destroy the saucer.
You've got a lot of shots during this mode, which feels weird. Feels like when you're in the center lane shots, you should pretty much just be in the center lane shots. And yeah, it feels a little too easy to start those modes.
Watch out, man. They've got a big old beam. Hey, that's my car. Stop them.
It definitely feels like I'm very close to lighting up entire lanes, and lighting up a whole entire lane feels like that should activate a different mode, not just an extra mode. Ah, there is a
Missiles on
sneak-in hole
standby.
back there for Milky Ball. So I imagine
Blimey, London Bridge is falling down, isn't it?
the goal is to get back there and lock in a third ball. You see, that feels like that should be a video mode, not just a video of the start of multi-ball.
Jackpot.
There's a multi-ball jackpot.
Destroy those lily-livered Martians.
The fact that the lady sounds British does feed back into the thought that this was supposed to be inspired by War of the Worlds, which
It will never work.
I think is set in the UK. Although we are right now in the London Bridge is Falling mode, so maybe they only have a British accent in that mode, and maybe there's several different accents and voices that are done by a single female voice actor.
I say, good shot.
I'm getting all kinds of combos.
Destroy the bleeding saucer.
It's weird to be able to start a couple different multi-balls and still just be in that same fighting mode. I feel like it should have been more broken up.
Extra ball! Take that, muffin head! Take
Muffin
that,
head.
wrinkle head!
Generic insults against aliens. Yeah, you might want to be a little careful on that, though. If this was supposed to be a kid-friendly table, do you want your kids calling other people muffin heads? Or does that not really matter to you? Although these days with access to the internet, I imagine most kids have already heard way worse insults. This one does have a video mode. Cool. What am I supposed to do? Use the flippers to aim the auto-fire guns, stop the saucers from landing. Alright, so I see what we're doing here. We are spinning around. And so what you want to get is a scattering of bullets and one landed. I'm at like 5 billion points. This table earns way too much. And see, I don't even know specifically if there's anything more to do on this table if we haven't really just done it all. Do I want to try the center shots and do every single city, every single attack mode? Because that's the only thing that seems like is different is maybe 3, 4, or yeah, maybe 5 attack modes haven't been done. So this might be a point where if I can't get to the ball to hit that one red dot, then I might not be able to move the story forward.
The Martians are destroying the Apple Tower!
Yep, see now it's a bad French accent.
You Martians from another planet!
Which I guess
Shoot again!
that might be a little bit stereotypical, but I think it kind of plays in line with the story that's being told. What I suppose you would do here, if you were going to make a modern version of this, is you would have it maybe a little bit easier to start the battles and have a few more battles and a few more locations. Or maybe you don't change the number and you just change the locations to more places around the world. And see, at 6 billion, that put me halfway, so this is an incredibly high scoring table. Super skill shot. You can go for super skill shot by holding the left flipper before the ball launch. Okay. This launches the ball around the loop to the left flipper, and 5 shots are in the and lights. 5 shots on the table. The 5 shots are the left loop, left ramp, force field, right ramp, and right loop. Completing any of these shots scores 50,000. Completing the loops and ramp spots all 3 total annihilation lamps for that shot. Refer to a total annihilation shot. Alright. Well, I understand why that didn't work. So there was the super skill shot. So at that point, it's not worth it to play anymore. Like, you might as well just let it finish, and that way we can get to the wizard goals. 30 minutes in. And we've gotten all the main goals, which definitely shows how easy the game is. I seriously doubt I'm just getting so good at pinball that I'm able to get the standard goals every time. Also, 32 million for a game where I'm literally just trying to cheat my way into losing. It's kind of ridiculous.
Destroy this sucker!
At a certain level, if you're going to introduce such an easy scoring mechanic, even little kids are going to eventually see through that concept fairly quickly, that they're not really earning the points. It may take them a few weeks, but they'll eventually figure it out and lose interest. Okay, for the wizard goals, we need to destroy 25 Martians. I kind of know what to do there. Score a multi-ball super jackpot. I think we may have already even done that. Complete video mode. I think we've done that, unless you have to do multiple video modes. Score a billion point hurry up. I'm not sure what triggers that. And then complete the rule the universe, which is probably just doing every single mission. 3 captures from the left loop, 3 big old beams from the left ramp, 3 tractor beams from the right ramp, 3 atomic blasters from the right loop. Completing any of those shots for a super skill shot will spot all 3 shots required to activate total annihilation. Refer to the skill shots chapter for additional details. Completing a shot after a 3rd time will score a fling bonus worth 10 million points. Once any of the shots are completed 3 times, it lights a hurry up at the force field. The hurry up starts at 100 million and decreases rapidly. Shoot any of the force field targets to score the current value on the display. If the force field has been lowered when the hurry up begins, shooting the drop target here, or the spot targets there or there. I didn't even know there were spot targets. Starting another hurry up, which already one is already activated, it increases the value by 300,000 points. Starting a 3rd hurry up, it increases the value by 500 million points. And then starting a 4th hurry up, activates, immediately scores 1 billion points. Oh, I see. See how this is going to have to be done. That would require a really successful multi-ball mode. And when you do that, I didn't get the skill shot that time, but that did launch the ball perfectly. And exactly as I would like to see it.
It will never work.
Yeah, I feel like you probably should have an Atomic Blaster blueprint on the field or an Atomic Blaster toy on the side instead of just one more UFO. Mm. And do I defeat a Martian when I hit the Martian standing targets, or do I have to be in the mode in which I could defeat Martians? So you can get that, wait, and then do that. I've kind of run out of things to say already on this table. It's a fine table, I think, but it's also so simplistic. Yeah, 40 minutes in, I've kind of know what I need to do. And like many tables, I could see some improvements on angles, but I really wouldn't want to change too much. You could get somewhat snooty and say, well, in the lower play field there's nothing going on, or you could try and change the standing target in the sides of the middle play field and try to have something more in the middle. Like, I could see moving the UFO more forward, and then trying to work with that, but the more forward you move the standing targets, the higher the chance the ball bounces back with a lot of force down the center lane. You could have had a like UFO on the underplay field, or had an entire underplay field, which we haven't seen that gimmick done again. Probably because people didn't really like it, and it probably cost a lot more than you would think. And by 1994, the idea of having an underplay field should be completely replaced with the idea of having a video mode. Yeah, that's probably something I would do if I was going to modernize this table. I'd probably put a LCD screen in the lower play field and play different visuals and graphics instead of just blinking lights. You could probably do that for a lot of tables, but this one in particular would benefit from that anyways. I feel like if there was a Mars Attack pinball table, which I think there was, they probably had to get a lot of licenses for the likenesses of a lot of people, and pay all the actors to voice act the lines again, because Mars Attacks as a movie was a celebrity-filled extravaganza. $555 million. Feels a little too high for that kind of bad game I just played. We still are in a scenario where it feels like I often am using up all my beginner's luck in the first couple of games, and then my fingers get tired. This might be a table where 3 shots instead of 4 or 5 would be more appreciated. Potentially going around in loops and circles can get annoying. That's true for even the high-speed tables. And I like both the high-speed tables, but yeah. That was an element that would limit how much I would play high speed, and it's an element that would limit how much I would play of this table. By an hour of playing this table, there's not really a mode or a shot that I would really want to practice. This might be a very decent practice table in general, just to warm up your fingers and try what are very standard angles. But every table's a little different, so it's kind of like the idea of trainer software that sometimes people try to sell on Steam, where it's a first-person shooter trainer game in quotations that is supposed to make you better at playing other first-person shooters, but there's zero chance that that legitimately would work. It would make way more sense to just play the specific game that controls the specific way you want to train on. So if you want to get better at Counter-Strike Go, for instance, play Counter-Strike Go. You wouldn't ever play a trainer software. The same thing is true for pinball. If I wanted to get better at Star Trek The Next Generation, I'm not going to play Attack from Mars to train that way.
Look out! Martian!
Alright. Can we hit all the Martians? And if we do hit all the Martians, do they then reset? Because there's a timer here. There's Martian multi-ball. So yeah, I suppose at this point, this is where you could destroy more Martians.
Ugly Martian.
But I think it wanted me to defeat like 21 of them, so that is certainly asking a lot as far as a wizard goal. That means you'd have to start the Martian attack and then keep the multi-ball going quite a while. And those outlanes. And see, more and more as I play these tables, I end up spending more and more time on them. Which, yeah, plenty of tables have that stickability where I don't want to give up on them and I want to keep playing, which is nice, because this certainly could have been a series where I just played one game of pinball and realized that the emulation was terrible, and or that I wasn't really interested in playing the pinball tables that much. Like, theoretically, I could have played one game for 20 minutes per table and been done way earlier.
Keep your hands off me! All four of them!
It will never work.
So, yeah. I'm hoping for a pretty good game now and maybe the next game, otherwise I'm just gonna start cheating, because I feel like, particularly for this table, there is a lot of cheating that I would like to do, although I'm not sure it's gonna really work for me, because if ball control doesn't let me get up some of the ramps, then that may limit how far I can really go. Extra ball at 4 billion points. You may have noticed by now that I'm also pretty bad at reading the numbers, so sometimes I'll read them as millions, sometimes I'll read them as billions. I don't think I have much of an excuse for that otherwise, though. So, I'm just kind of an idiot.
Hey, they got our stuff.
I really wish this table flowed a little bit better, because that would be really nice. If every shot I was making was getting up a ramp and not bouncing back.
Super shot.
I'm wondering if the amount of damage to the saucer changes if you hit the edges versus the standing target directly in the center. It seems like you have to hit it 3 times regardless. Alright, well, 25 Martians, multi-ball jackpot video mode. We could get those 2 for sure. Hurry up and complete rule of the universe are pretty demanding ideas. Ball control, operator mode, open the coin door. I question what you could really even have as far as this. I see there's a light for 5-way combo, so that probably indicates something as far as one of your goals. Adjustments. Feature adjustments. Buying extra balls, ball saves, ball save time, extra ball percentage, attack wave, extra ball, bottom lane, extra ball, strobe, multi-ball, start wave random, attack wave start difficulty is easy, attack wave difficulty is medium, first hard lock, super JP timer, Martian memory, im attack, start difference, Martian timer, player tournament mode, family mode, yes, attract music, no, attract sounds, yes, attract lights, yes, a random seed, that seems unnecessary in pinball to have that. Novice mode off, I'd probably turn that on. Timed plunger off, flipper plunger off, disable diverter, no, disable left gate, disable right gate, disable the Martian bank, disable drop targets, disable aliens, disable the saucer. A lot of things here clearly they planned for them to break down so you could disable them in software and still play the game. Alright, let's just go ahead and turn off operator mode because it crashes half the time anyways.
The Earth is being invaded by flying saucers from Mars.
So there's your super skill shot.
The Martians are strengthening the Tower of Pisa.
And so, with ball control, hitting the edge, the back, and then the other edge, did 3 attacks. Spelling things here. Unlock stroke of lock. I guess. What does spelling Martian do? Man, ball control not great. So that's Light's Martian attack. And so I could hit this. I think I locked the ball. Nope. I didn't lock the ball.
Look out! Martian!
Okay. So any of those hits that. Any of these attacks that. That one only attacks that one.
Look out! More Martians!
And then... And if you could get the ball to ramp this way, you can apparently hit it quite a bit. But I am noticing that you can't do it all the way that way, so cheating is more difficult than it seems. I am just like got no control at all at the moment. I'm just trying so hard to keep the ball in play.
Save me! Save me!
And see, now I've got a ball in the out lane and I can't stop it. I can't get it out of the out lane. How many Martians have I destroyed? I feel like 25. Even cheating this is pretty much impossible. And they stop shaking after a while. Alright, and seemingly you can only destroy it maybe 50 at most. And you'd have to be very careful with it because you're just gonna bone it up. I'm just gonna let that mode end.
You some ugly Martian. We gotta save the Statue of Liberty. Take that, Martian.
So, man, I just cannot control the ball enough here. I'm having to snake it. I might as well just line up shots down this way and hope I don't lose.
Blast the saucers.
I guess it's an idea that there's an energy shield on the saucer, and that's what the bar is.
Destroy the saucer.
That is on the bottom of the LCD screen there.
Nobody messes with the USA.
Go for the extra ball.
You just got so much blinking here.
Sacre bleu! The Martians are destroying the Eiffel Tower.
Cannot get it strong enough shot.
Go away from France, you Martian.
3 times the damage. 2 times the damage.
Hey, that's my car!
I tell you, it's way more fun to shoot the ball than it is to try and use your ball control feature and your thumb on the Xbox One D-pad.
Blow the saucer out of the sky!
This is a game that's clearly a parody. I mean, at best, that's how you describe it as, is that it is clearly parodying the fact that there's stereotypical characters in older movies. Worst case scenario, it's just engaging and spreading stereotypes, but I think in this case you can take it as a satirical parody work if you want to take it that way, even if it wasn't ever truly intended to be that way.
Extra ball!
What I'm questioning here is these blue lights at the bottom. They seem to be kind of like goals, and I wouldn't be surprised if you actually have to do those goals and not the fights.
Blimey, London Bridge is falling down, isn't it? Take that, you horrible green Martian.
So yeah, we may find out that doing these
Destroy those
relatively
Martians.
easy Martian attack sections
Extra ball!
may not do anything other than light up one of the blue lights in the lower part of this playfield, and there may be 5 other things that we have to do.
I say, good shot.
Seriously? All that cheating and it still doesn't save the ball for me.
Return to battle, soldier!
Blow the saucer out of the sky.
So there's now like 2 balls on the field when there should only be 1 because I cheated.
Nothing can defeat us!
So we should take advantage of the fact that there are 2 balls while we aren't technically in a 2-ball multi-ball.
Watch out, man! They've got a big old beam! Well done, soldier! Total annihilation! Woohoo!
Total Annihilation is just a big old multi-ball mode.
Keep those bags for Germany!
Where I assume you're supposed to just kind of keep the balls in play. Either that or there's a super jackpot somewhere around this. But I have no idea what the super jackpot
You
is.
some ugly Martian!
Interesting, I have like 1 more hit for super jets. 2. So even in that total annihilation mode, I really didn't hit the bumpers enough. Which I feel like that highlights some things.
Destroy
There are
the
now 2 of the
Martians!
blue lights lit, leaving 4 still to be done. Strobe multi-ball, which seems to turn off all the lights except for the one strobe in the center. Hard to play multi-ball and get good center lane shots, but that's what they want me to do. I really wish I had never bought any skins for the pinball like that. I think some of them came for free. There the ball just also glitched through a physical thing when it should have bounced back.
Victorious! We must finish them off! Let's take their ship and attack Mars!
So now we're attacking Mars. Interesting. And so is this a hurry up where I don't have a lot of time? Come on. And see, doing this normally, you probably...
No! Can't we just be friends? But we'll be back.
Mars destroyed for 2.5 billion. So it doesn't seem like we can start any more attacks. So we're looking for a 5-way combo, I think, on ramps, which would mean I pretty much have to get really, really good. And whatever is on the blue light on the far left, and I think that activates the final mode. In a funny way, I may have locked myself out of being able to do much of anything else by accomplishing, by being successful. I may have locked myself out of other things. Come on.
Get every available man.
That shot. Hit that. Hit. Nope. That shot.
Use the atomic blaster now.
Then that shot.
Excellent.
Yeah, I may not be able
Shoot
to
again.
cheat my way towards all of these goals, particularly with the typical ball control that we're getting. Terrible ball control.
Missiles locked on target.
Feel like I probably could activate video mode if I land down this way. Yep. And this would be a point where video mode should probably be bigger and you can see it from all over. Let's see. And really the best you can do on something like this is to just try and swing back and forth and hope for a good amount of luck. What are our other shots on the table when we're in Martian attack mode? Oh, the ball control is just terrible. There's the Milky Ball. But what else are you shooting when you're doing this multi-ball? You can shoot the ramps, yes. And I guess shooting a ramp does count. Maybe it's taking out some Martians.
Great shot.
Right. What are our shots? We've got a ramp here. We have a ramp on the left, and a loop on the right, a loop on the left, and a ramp on the right. And we have like a multi-ball lined up.
Save me! Save me! You're the best.
Two-way combo.
Total annihilation.
Total annihilation. So I'm just gonna play this and try to see if I can get a 3-way or 4-way or 5-way combo while doing this.
Take that, muffin head.
Otherwise, I really don't know what we're aiming for as far as more goals. Seems like we've kind of done everything. There was a attempt to make almost a completely digital pinball table that had a Martian attacks theme somewhat like this, and it used basically a Pepper's Ghost magic trick, I believe is what it's called, to project a light on a piece of glass that is at a 45-degree angle, making it seem like there was video that you were actually flinging the pinball towards. It didn't play very well as a table because you really couldn't see what you were actually shooting the ball to. It was basically just a bunch of scoops or sink holes or something like that. I don't think it really had any standing targets or ramps or loops or anything.
Mulky Ball! Jackpot!
Jackpot would be to get multiple ramps.
Jackpot!
I think that's the trick. We've got to hit several different angles.
Jackpot! Jackpot!
So there's one more blinking ramp. So let's cheat to get to that one. So we might have a chance. Yeah, I don't think I can get up that ramp though by cheating because it's angled further back there. Just try and hope I can get one shot. Nope, couldn't get it. So even cheating the super jackpot is undoable. And see, that puts me kind of in this bad position. Super jets have been activated, where yeah, I'm in this bad position where there's kind of nothing else I can do. I'd have to start another jackpot, try to get super jackpot. I think super jackpot is the thing on the far left, and I still would need to figure out a 5-way shot, and the 5-way shot is probably a little bit more complicated than I think it is. We can't start another attack mode, so there's this whole element of the game that you just can't do. Score multiplier by 25. That's a really high score multiplier. That's a ridiculously high score multiplier. Let's play a little bit more than that. I want to go down trying the combo. That. Then.
Well done, soldier.
Probably the far right ramp, then the right, the far right loop, then the far right ramp, then the left ramp, and then the center left loop ramp. But then even at that still feels like only 4, not a 5-way combo. Ideally, this would be a 5 combo would be just hitting the ball up 5 ramps or loops in a row fairly consistently.
Extra ball!
Didn't really want to earn an extra ball there. This isn't a bad table by any means, but having it lock yourself out of the attack modes until you can accomplish a way more difficult task is bad programming. There needed to have been a way to restart in the attack mode and just rerun it and give minimal points for doing something. Star Trek The Next Generation definitely lets you do that. If you like one mission, you can rerun that mission as many times as you want. Wow. The second I nearly drained the ball, I started Mulky Ball. I suppose I could practice here to try and actually hit the Martians legitimately. Those aren't really the angles I'd be shooting for, though.
You some ugly Martians.
Yep. We definitely have seen this in other games, though, where the early targets are fairly easy, but then there's just a difficulty spike for later functions. And unlike regular video games, difficulty spikes are probably going to be very common in pinball because you can't really have somebody grind away and gain XP or anything like that for a character in pinball. Although that might be an interesting idea. An Elder Scrolls type pinball table in the real world would make an interesting table. I believe Pinball FX3 did make a table something based on Elder Scrolls. 19 billion. So we know how to do that. 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 What was it? The Rule the Universe. Once you've completed all 6 objectives, shoot the scoop to activate Rule the Universe. Rule the Universe is a 5-ball multi-ball mode that activates multiple features. The goal is to score 5 million points. You have to do total annihilation, super jackpot, Martian. If you score 5 billion points, all the balls will drain and a new ball is sent to the ball launcher. Then there are victory laps. Conquer Mars remains lit for the rest of the game. This makes it easier to reactivate Rule the Universe by completing all 5 objectives. Yeah, the thing I'm not seeing here is the 5-way combo. One of the objectives that must be completed in order to activate the Rule the Universe mode is the 5-way combo. To complete this objective, you must do a 5-way combo. Combo shots are scored by making consecutive shots to the major targets on the table. During single ball play Mars Attack multi-ball, combo shots can be scored from any time from the left ramp, center loop, right ramp. It is a flashing arrow. If it lights a flashing arrow in front of the loop, ramp, center loop, right lamp, or right loop for about 8 seconds. Complete any other lit shot before the flashing arrow lamp turns off and scores a combo shot. Shooting the right loop to score a shot will turn off the flashing arrows for all shots unless Atomic Blaster 3 is flashing or lit. Shooting the right loop turns off all the flashing arrows, so don't shoot for that one. Completing 2 or more right loop shots will make the Atomic Blaster 3 launch again and make this gate stay open when the right loop is shot. Shooting the left loop to score a combo shot will turn off all the flashing arrows for all other shots unless Capture 3 is flashing or lit. Completing 2 or more left loop shots will make Capture 3 lit and make the gate stay open. When the gate is open, the left loop and right loop can be shot to start or continue combo shots. A two-way combo scores 25 million, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, it definitely feels like that should have been a lot easier to do as far as a 5-way combo shot, but it's not. I want to give this just one more legitimate try, but I think high chance I fail miserably. Particularly that final goal just requires you to accomplish everything on the table, and that's not likely to happen unless I have one really good game. You may have noticed that while we did see on exactly one table a little float to indicate how balanced the pitch of the table was, that concept was never carried over to any other tables. And this is kind of a great example of a table where I could see somebody adjusting it to make it easier on the player. Like, when I have a weak flip like that, and it goes only halfway up the play field, that's a problem.
Save me!
Once again, I just kind of don't have anything to say, so I could see myself coming back to this game and playing for a couple hours. I could also see myself just getting really frustrated with the drain outs. This is a table that probably would have benefited from having a launcher. Notice only Terminator 2 and Star Trek The Next Generation have had a launcher. Maybe we've seen one other table that had one, but I don't think so.
No time to pee! Grab those Martians! Oh no, they've got our livestock and treasured historical monuments! It's hideous!
Start the Martian attack. Theoretically, now with the multi-ball lit, doing combos would be easier. Where's that other ball? Interesting. I guess I have to hit him first before I start the multi-ball, don't I?
Super shot! Destroy the bleeding saucer!
It's kind of cool that I hit the stand-up targets and then it bounced in towards the center. We're working our way towards multi-ball,
Missiles on standby.
and another multi-ball, and another attack mode. There's a 2-ball multi-ball.
Martians! Use the atomic blaster now. Extra ball.
Now we're in a total annihilation mode. Just trying to keep all the balls playing. Down the 2.
You some ugly Martian.
We got super jets enabled.
The Brandenburger Tor is in danger. Look out, Martians! Germany coming through!
Just keep on playing, I suppose.
We will fight for Germany! Take that, you ugly green Martian! Run away! Extra ball!
Another extra ball. Another locked ball. That should start the multi-ball.
Multi ball!
Alright. Every ramp is the goal now.
Destroy the saucer! Jackpot!
I'm down to 2 balls. Down the 1 ball. There goes the multi-ball. Quickly, as quick as you get it, you quickly lose it. I guess in this mode, all you're hitting is the center lane shots, which is very different from what I've been trying to hit up until this point. I don't really get the goal here on the Stern multi-ball. Seems to just be a multi-ball mode that allows you to keep playing as long as it keeps going on, and allows you to keep scoring. Doesn't seem fully thought out. Doesn't seem like with more hits you're getting more points or you're taking more damage away. It feels like you'd almost want the aliens laughing at you during this mode. Because of how frivolous your attempt is really going.
Extra ball!
Yeah, this just seems like this goes on forever, which that's fine if you just want a high score and then end up on the leaderboards. But if that's not your focus, then that's just a time waster.
Shoot again!
I'm not sure that was what I was supposed to hit for the super skill shot, but whatever. There we go, video mode. So unless there's a trick here that needs to be addressed, I think that alone would be the wizard goal.
We are invincible.
Maybe it isn't. Maybe there is a trick there where you have to actually win on the video mode. We're up to 6 billion points.
Shoot again.
Yeah, it does feel like you have to. There you go. That's a super skill shot.
Get your hands off me!
We must destroy the stinking Martian!
How many more times do I have to hit it? A few more times. By the looks of it.
Total annihilation.
Alright, well, total annihilation will make that easier.
You Martians will never take France!
Once again, try and have a combo shot. If you can get a combo shots in the annihilation mode, which I don't know if you can. There's the end of total annihilation mode.
Destroy this saucer!
We must build an atomic blaster.
Keep on going, I suppose. Man, I really have no commentary to make, don't I? It's just like, yeah, just keep on playing. You're doing all right. You're keeping the ball in play.
Get every available
You're
man.
not really getting that that 5-way combo, but you're not losing. And I guess as long as you're not dying, you're winning. I think somebody said that once. I guess it's like that meme, "Are you winning, son?" in pinball. The answer is pretty much yes, always. If you're still playing, you're winning. And frankly, you're always getting better at playing pinball in video games anyway, so even if you are dying in a video game, you're often, from one perspective, winning experience. Very rarely is that a waste of time. Oh, that barely survived. Come on, and try and use this as much to my advantage as possible.
Great shot. You some ugly Martians.
Save me! Save me! You're the best.
Blow the saucer out of the sky!
Come on. A lot of what I might be able to accomplish in this game probably would just have to be redundantly done later anyways. So even going for a good game here
Use the
is really
atomic blaster.
pretty much just
Now.
practice.
Well done, soldier.
Italia! Italia!
We must finish them off. Let's take their ship and attack Mars.
Pocket slit. Yeah, so much for the pacifism route too on this, where the second you you defeat somebody attacking you, you go and invade them just like they were invading you. War makes no saints, no angels. Come on. So I need one up the ramp. On the left. So gotta get a shot up the ramp on the left before I drain. That should be a super jackpot. Apparently there was something else I had to do after hitting all the ramps to get the super jackpot and I missed it. Apparently I still have yet to also destroy 20 Martians. Or 21 Martians. Which feels like it's
Get the troops ready.
slightly harder to do than it should be. No, it said 27 Martians
Do it
there.
again.
There we go.
Not so fast, human.
4 shots left to destroy Mars. Interesting. I could probably pull that off. If I can get some power shots. See, this is the problem with a lot of tables though, is you've got to hit with the flippers in such a way that you have momentum that the flippers can't actually provide on their own. So I should have bumped that. Look how you bump it, it rattles the UFO.
Martians.
2 shots left. Martian attack lit. 1 shot left. There goes Mars.
Can't we just be friends? But we'll be back.
But see, they say they'll be back, and then they're never going to be back. Which that seems weird to use that line. I mean, I get it. But finally, it was 25 Martians I had to hit.
Total annihilation.
Total Annihilation is started. But I would need to start the Mulky Ball, not Total Annihilation. I feel like getting 5 or 4 out of the 6 possible options should be enough to start the final mode instead of having to do everything. But we've seen on plenty of other tables where they've kind of forced you to do that. And it's kind of sucked on plenty of other tables too, I suppose. Yeah, all I can do at this point would be to hope for another multi-ball, hope for a super jackpot, and hope for a 5-ball multi-ball in the middle of that super jackpot. Pretty decent game at 19 billion. I think pretty decent, but clearly this would be a much higher ranking game than just a higher scoring game. So yeah, there must be something you have to do. It will only be activated once per game, which seems like that's kind of crazy to lock out the video mode. During video mode, flying saucers begin to descend. You control a ship in the center, display fires automatically, engage the flippers. Your goal is to blast as many flying saucers as possible and to destroy the mothership. If any of the flying saucers land, video mode ends. Each blasted flying saucer scores 3 million. Once 30 flying saucers have been blasted, an extra ball will descend. The extra ball will looks like a flying saucer with EB in the center of it. Blast it, turn an extra ball. Once 40 or 50 flying saucers have been blasted, the mothership begins descending, shooting the mothership 80 times to destroy it in complete video game mode. Video mode, wow. Engaging the ball launcher during video mode will use a smart bomb. It will blast flying saucers currently on display, and the smart bomb can be used on the mothership. You only get one smart bomb. Another variation of video mode can be activated in cow attack video mode. Occasionally when you score a big old beam by shooting the left beam or tractor beam, you'll see a cow during the animation on display. When that occurs, engage the ball launcher multiple times. When you do this, you'll hear cows mooing. If you do this for both ramps, then activate video mode. The flying saucers will be replaced by cows. Scoring is the same in cow attack video mode, but the cows are larger than the flying saucers and easier to hit. Sneak attack. Okay. So I guess that's the way to do video mode. Yeah, we're starting to see more Easter eggs in pinball tables too, and that I don't like that. And we never got to this hurry up mode. You need to do 3 captures from the left lane, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Doing total annihilation. Yep. This puts me in a weird position because I specifically don't know if I really want to put Mars Attacks in the favorites. Though it's a decent table, and I think I probably shouldn't have my standards that high, but I really wouldn't put this in the top 25 tables. So maybe I would then say like put this at like 26 of the best as far as the best tables I've ever played. And maybe if I'd played more tables, it would not even make it into the top 50, but I'm not sure. Because honestly, there's so few tables that have been made. Anyways, it's weird that my Hall of Fame score on this is 178. Let's look at the overall score. So you've got some cheaters at 900 billions. Although when you get up to like 400 or 500 billion, that seems somewhat believable for an all-time high score. Let's see, where's my score in the old time though? 19,553, so I'm much higher overall. If we look weekly, playing this on a Tuesday, I'm at the 33 highest score. So yeah, there definitely are some players that have gotten much higher in the billions. And then monthly, I'm at the 118th position, playing this on the 13th of the month. That's not a big surprise either, so yeah. yeah, that's Mars Attacks. There's not a lot to say there, frankly, and I hope that doesn't become a running theme where we start to play some of these tapes, these tables, and they're somewhat generic. I believe this table might be baseball related. I thought it said Big Hunt from far away, but then I walked closer to my TV across the room and it looked like there was a baseball icon in front of that. So we may have a baseball theme to kind of counter the soccer theme, but we still don't have an American football theme or a basketball theme as far as I can tell, but you would think something like that would exist. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wish list. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.